Well, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you, excited to share the news with you. I've got a ton of time into this report, so I really hope you appreciate it. Please leave your comments below, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I want to thank my sponsor, Freedom Hill Coffee. FreedomHillCoffee.com, promo code Lumberjack. You can save 10%, and they support great causes, veterans causes, PTSD awareness, and those types of things. Also, I just ordered a bunch for Christmas gifts just to give you an idea of things you can do. All right. Anyways, the enemy of the people, the mainstream media, is trying to cause a race war. I know no other way to explain it, but America isn't buying it. That's the good news. This is another massive red pill on the heels of the Rittenhouse red pill and a whole host of other red pills that the nation is swallowing every single day. One of my favorite terms, one of the media's favorite terms, I should say, is gaslighting. And I've always said that if you want to know what the media is up to, just find out what they're accusing others of, and that's what they're doing. The media and the radical left always play from the same book. Look at all the times they're telling us that we're gaslighting them. It's the most obscene thing. And then what they'll do is they'll play the victim card, like this guy here. White supremacy caused this. Either a white supremacist actually did this, or like killer KKK Rittenhouse, or this was the last resort of a victim of white supremacy. Either way, white people caused this. So note, it's the fault of white supremacy, whether it was a white supremacist or not, okay? So Mary Lemonsky, social media director for DuPage County, Illinois Democrat Party, had some wonderful things to say about the SUV that drove into the Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Notice how she then tries to play the victim when it backfires. It was probably just self-defense. Wisconsin Kyle Rittenhouse. The blood of Kyle Rittenhouse's victims is on the hands of Wisconsin citizens, even the children. She's trying to say basically that because the verdict didn't come out the way they want, that's why this happened. You reap what you sow, Wisconsin, and now how it's going. Nobody cared about me like my whole life. My mom used to leave me for hours at a time alone in my playpen. I put out music for 20 years and nobody gave a what? Why do people all of a sudden care about a stupid remark? I can't believe my 15 minutes of fame is for this crap. Okay, it's one thing for this gal to complain, but it's another thing entirely for the president to ignore such a tragedy. What would have happened in Kenosha if the perp had a MAGA hat and a Trump bumper sticker on that SUV and it had plowed into a BLM protest? It would have been called an act of domestic terrorism. It would have run on the news 24/7, 365, and Jay Bribes would have been running to the scene in Waukesha with Sharpton to get some props from the media. How do we know this? Well, folks, our friends on the left have already shown. Check this out. Occupy Democrats. Breaking, a Trumper emboldened by the Rittenhouse verdict plows into a crowd of peaceful protesters marching against Rittenhouse acquittal in Connecticut, injuring 6, including a 60-year-old woman who is now fighting for her life. He got away. Retweet to help police find him. Correction. Last night we tweeted out initial regarding a possible car attack in Connecticut that turned out to be false. The motive, political alignment of the driver remains unknown. None of the victims were hospitalized. We sincerely apologize for the mistake. Unbelievable. They can't even get the state right. The suspect was known. The ID of the suspect was known. Check this out from Intel Point Alert. Okay, obviously it was on the police scanners at that point. No, check this gal out. Have we learned what color the driver of the SUV in Waukesha was yet? So right-wing media can decide if running people over in a Christmas parade was terrorism, mental illness, or someone acting in perceived self-defense? So to answer this lady's question, yes, by 1:28 a.m., as you can see from her tweet, we knew what color he was, but the media didn't want to mention it. In fact, it made them terribly uncomfortable, as you can see here in this clip.
It was a black guy with dreadlocks by himself. I don't know if you want to use that.
Okay, well, listen, Rick.
And I'm not, listen, hey, I'm a black guy, so I'm not, saying that because I'm not, a white guy out of Waukesha saying black guys did it.
Okay.
But this is what her daughter said.
Rick, I should inform you right now, you are on live television. So
really?
Everything you say, we are using. So we wanna be careful.
Well, I'm telling you, okay.
And we are going to, listen, you are an eyewitness account and we're taking you at your word. We are going to work to confirm these details later.
Yet his social media post showed a treasure trove of information about his hatreds of whites and other radical beliefs. So Andy Nago tweeted out, the man in custody over the mass casualty incident at the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas Parade has posts on his social media in support of BLM causes, George Floyd, and black nationalism. He also has a post about how to get away with running people over in the street. I kid you not. Okay, and then this one, the man charged with murdering 6 at the Waukesha Massacre shared a meme saying Hitler knew who all the real Jews were. He's reportedly a black Hebrew Israelite, the same extremist group who murdered 4 people in a kosher supermarket in New Jersey. All of this was known the night the incident took place, yet the media wanted nothing to do with it. Nor did any of the headlines talk about his skin color. Not that they should have. But you know darn well that if the perpetrator was white, they would have. Check these headlines out. White man fatally shoots black man who complimented his white girlfriend. Again, white, black, but only when the narrative fits their need. How about this one? Shooter who killed 2 black people in Massachusetts was white supremacist, police say. And then this one here out of Vox, they're just the bastion of truth. We need to talk about the white people who voted for Donald Trump. Okay, or out of the AP, going back to the Rittenhouse jury. The anonymous jury, whose racial makeup was not disclosed by the court, but appeared to be overwhelmingly white, deliberated for close to 3.5 days. Why didn't the headlines read, Black supremacist plows through parade of predominantly white people? Because, narrative. Instead, we got whitewashed, pun intended, headlines like this out of the Washington Post. Here's what we know so far on the sequence of events that led to the Waukesha tragedy caused by SUV. Or out of CBS News. Happening now. The man accused of deadly Christmas parade crash in Waukesha, Wisconsin makes his first court appearance. So it's a crash. It's a tragedy caused by an SUV. No, it was a tragedy caused by a person who happened to be black. Look at CNN put out so much stuff. I can't even give you these the incident, fatal incident, parade crash incident, parade incident. Okay? They could not come to terms with it. But then we also get tweets like this. Supporting a cause doesn't automatically mean any crime you commit is because of your belief in that cause. It also looks like they are running from something. They only hit people when they couldn't get past. This is only based on the videos out, though. They're so hunting for this at this point because their stomachs are sick. They're like, oh my gosh. But all we want is for the media to play it straight. But they don't. And America's catching on, as you can see. It doesn't matter what color those Americans are. So trending on Twitter next day was Waukesha Massacre. Discussion has ensued over media reports referring to the deadly Waukesha crash as an accident, given that the suspect is being charged with intentional homicide. Or how about King Randall here? Oh my gosh. Y'all know Rittenhouse wasn't wrong. You all wanted them to convict him because he was white. Just say that. And then here from Cat Turd. You guys hilarious. The Christmas Parade Massacre should be one of the biggest stories of the decade, and the left-wing media is already ignoring it or downplaying it. Wonder why? It doesn't fit the narrative. Here out of just the news, if you want to see how people are waking up, nearly half of likely U.S. voters say media coverage of Rittenhouse trial was unfair. It goes on in the article to say nearly half of likely U.S. voters say the media coverage of Kyle Rittenhouse homicide trial was unfair to the teenage defendant, according to a poll released Tuesday. The poll by Rasmussen Reports and Human Events found 47% of likely voters believe the trial cover was unfair, including 28% who say the coverage was not at all fair. America is waking up. We're not buying it. Memo to the lefties. Invariably, if the perp was white, we would have been told the merits of CRT, and this woman would have been paid large dollars to give seminars. Check this out.
All white people are racist. So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually. So even when you're on your path to trying to figure out how to be a better human being, because I believe that white people are born into not being human, like that actually, instead of people of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy, that y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So in this particular way, white people are all racist. So I just want y'all.
So it's all about white hate and victimhood, and no one does it better than white women who went to college and were spoon-fed trash, like this lady who sends a demonstrable tweet and then goes right to the victim card. River Everdeen. I'm not trying to minimize the tragedy of Waukesha at all, but FFS, why not a Trump rally? Seems like a win to me. Rest in peace, beautiful souls that were out there just having a family day out. This is seriously heartbreaking, but guessing the driver will plead self-defense, right? And then she goes on to say, so absurd that this will be a viral tweet, so people are cool with the hatred, vitriol, mega Trump perpetuated. So people are cool with teens walking around with weapons randomly killing people. It wasn't random, ma'am. Yet, providing an accurate reflection on the current state of affairs isn't okay? Cool, got it. So, it's like these people all read from the same textbook on how to tweet. Seriously. Say something stupid. Then act like you never wanted the attention when you actually did. And then play the victim. The difference between the Brooks and Rittenhouse cases, it could not have been more stark. In one instance, we're told that Rittenhouse is an obvious racist and white supremacist, even though he only shot white guys while defending himself. And in the other, we're told that a career criminal was not to blame, but apparently the SUV was. The one where the person didn't have the intent to kill was clearly a case of murder, but the other was a clear case of accidental bad driving. The radical lefties continue to overplay their hand, which is why they are going to lose so terribly in the near future. The fact is, they tried to ignore the incident, then spin it as a police pursuit problem, and then ignore it again. But America saw the young girls excited to be part of a dance troupe. And they saw the dancing grannies. And the horror of that night can't be spun. I saw this headline. Waukesha Christmas Parade mass murder coverage is a low point in American journalism. And it is. And out of the Wall Street Journal, Democrats have a Waukesha problem. And I found this piece out of Real Clear Politics to be very defining. The disconnect will haunt Democrats. Waukesha is one of those rare moments when the consequences of an extreme ideology are brutally exposed to a nation. It's a big new midterm problem for Democrats, one that could prove as difficult to overcome as rising inflation, COVID surges, and parental backlash against educational fads like critical race theory. No, folks, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose bigly. Hey, real quickly, do support my sponsor, MyPillow. Promo code Lumberjack will save you up to 66%, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much, and peace out, folks. I love y'all.